So I'm Niccolo Polli. I'm the country CEO of HSBC here in Luxembourg. I've been in Luxembourg now almost 2 years.
I'm Autumn Lelievre. I'm Chief Compliance Officer for HSBC in Luxembourg. And personally, I'd faced discrimination. I'm a single mum and knew very much how hard it was from time to time to hide big parts of your life because you didn't want to upset a stereotype or encounter prejudice. So again, for me, becoming an ally became a way of sharing my own experience and saying, you can trust me.
I talked a lot about my commitments. I try to be very visible in this space, both at work and then I do lots of posts on LinkedIn around this because I attend and participate in quite a few different panels. We sponsored Pride Week 2019-2020, which is very important, also as a way to get other people involved. We hosted another roundtable this year on the 24 hours of Pride, and last year I also attended I was a panelist on the PwC IMS event on being inclusive in the workplace. So I try to be not just talking through words, but actually spending a lot of my time on this and being very visible in this space.
For me, it was a need to talk about my commitment because I know that actually being out as an ally is so much easier than being out as somebody who identifies as a member of the community. And if I can find just a little bit of courage to say, I'm an ally, you can trust me, I'm really quite certain that that will give a little bit of confidence to those who struggle perhaps to be out at work.
There are two things for me that are very important. One is what you would call walk the walk and not just talk the talk, meaning I have to be as I want others to be. So I have to call out behavior if I see it. I have to emulate the behavior that I want in others. The second is I have to enable others. I have to be here to make sure that everyone who is in the LGBT space is able to be themselves. And I have to enable their ideas, I have to support them, and I have to promote what they would like to do to make this even more visible. So it's both being who I am and then enabling others to be how they would like to be.
For me, being an ally is making sure this remains a priority conversation. It's saying when we're planning our diversity and inclusion activities, making sure we're keeping a focus on LGBTI inclusion.
So in order to be LGBTI friendly, I think it begins with the culture of a company. And this really begins with the values that we have and the people that we recruit. I think that's really the step one, is to make sure that the people that we onboard into the company share the same values as us. I think the second part is ensuring that we talk about behaviors as well as part of annual processes so that we can talk to people about how they behave in an open, diverse and inclusive manner. And then the third is what I would call a little bit of self-policing, and it may or may not feel comfortable for some, but we do need to call out behaviors that aren't aligned to our cultures and to our values. And we need to do it actually somewhat visibly so that people see what is acceptable and what is not acceptable in our company. And that's really down to all of us, but it starts with me and my management team, because I think leading by example is very, very important in this space.
I think the first action that a company needs to implement to really show a true commitment to inclusion is to make it clear that discrimination of any form is not tolerated. That's not just the aggressive type of discrimination we might think of, but the making jokes and even the making assumptions, assuming that someone has a partner of the opposite sex or that they have children. Actually, it's challenging people to avoid conversations that bring those assumptions in, because each one of those assumptions reminds people that they don't fit a norm and that they're different. So I think that's really important, and in doing that we create an environment where people feel comfortable to be themselves.
Yeah, so my advice to people is if you authentically get pleasure by seeing other individuals open up and grow and mature and become bigger, better versions of themselves, then this is for you. Because I think by being an ally, that is what we can do. We can enable others to really become what they were meant to be and not be constrained by this fear of being found out or of being not accepted by society and by their peers. So if that gives you pleasure, then this is absolutely for you.
I think for me the moment that really defined my commitment to being an ally was not long after I joined HSBC Group and was approached by a former member of my team from a former employee who'd made the brave decision to publicly transition from the sex assigned at birth, which was male, to a female identity. And I had an email saying, Autumn, I need someone professional to certify my passport application. I don't know anyone else who I could trust. And I wondered if you could spare the time to certify my application and my photographs. And I wrote back, of course, I'd be thrilled. And I wasn't just thrilled, I was actually honoured to be part of such a key moment in her life.